Hey guys, it's Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and we're going to create this paper bag journal page together. This is just the foundation page construction, and the decorating we do in our lives shows that I do once a month, last Wednesday of each month at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're not going to do any decorating. Let's construct this. We're going to create a flap, a large in the bag tag, and a pocket at the back. Okay? So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is take your lunch bag, and this just can be inexpensive dollar store bags. Bags you find at the thrift store, or even bags you just flat out have bought at the grocery store for your children or your husband or whatever. Just go over the whole surface with your bone folder. So all of the folds of the bag are nice and smooth. These are inexpensive made bags, so there will be irregularities. You just have to cover those up with however you decide to decorate them, whether you paint them or cover them in paper. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your paper to your paper cutter, and you are going to trim it so that it is 12 inches tall, okay? So we'll line the bottom of the bag where the bottom is, line it up at 12 inches, and you're just going to slice up the rough bit and the little tab bit away. So you cut this off. You know, where the edge is rough, and then there's like that little cutout area. So you throw that away. Okay. Then we're going to glue our pocket up. And all you do is you put a little glue here and press it down and let that set while you're creating your tag and your flap. And I'm just going to use tacky glue, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, you just want to make sure you don't glue the gussets on the side of the bag. You don't want those glued shut. So just squeeze those down and set that aside to dry while you work on the next step. Alright, so then you take your 12 by 12 piece of paper, and your first cut is for the large tag, because the large tag that goes inside the bag is 12 inches long. So you're going to cut this at 5 3/4 inches. 5 3/4. And you're going to cut that away. And you've made your tag. And the remaining piece is going to need to be trimmed down for your flap, because it has to be slightly shorter, and I'll show you why. But you need to trim the flap piece. It's going to be 6 1/4, but you've got to trim it down to 11 1/2. So trim that down to 11 1/2. All right, so we're going to set this aside now. All right, I'm just tossing the excess away. This part is your large tag, and it will go in the paper bag on the side that doesn't have the pocket. And you just slide that in there, and your tag is in there. Now you've got this other piece that is 11 1/2 by 6 1/4. It will pull this back over here, okay? So this is the tag we had. I'm going to put that back in. And when you put it in, you're going to have to put it in the side that doesn't have the pocket. So the side next to the flap, you slide that in. Because if you try to put it in this side where the pocket bottom folds up, the bag bottom folds up for the pocket, the tag would stop. But if you put it in the side with the flap, the tag will go all the way to the bottom of the bag. So now we need to do the tag here. And we need to score a 1/2 inch down one long side. And then the other side of the bag, you're going to leave this open, and then we'll put our tag in this side of the bag. But before we can put it in there, we need to score this piece at a 1/2 inch. So get our score board out here, and we'll score this at a 1/2 inch. All the way down, and I do it like twice. You don't want to do it too many times or you'll put a hole right in your paper. Okay? And then we're going to fold this. Use this bone folder. Get that good. Now, because the gusset on the bag, when you open it up, it kind of goes at an angle at the bottom. I cut an angle away on my tab, and I do it at the top and the bottom simply so that it opens and closes easily. And what I mean by that is, like down here at the bottom, you'll cut from the bottom of this, the main part, across where you've scored it and up a little bit, just so you cut a little triangle away. And the same up here, from the down about a 1/2 inch to the score line, cut a little triangle off. So you're not cutting a whole lot away, you're just cutting enough so that it'll clear the edge of the bag for you. And I throw those away. Now, to get this in here, when you put this in the bag, in the edge of the bag, your 1/2 inch that you scored over, you're going to want to, when you adhere it in here, I don't have any tape on this or anything, I just want to show, you're going to leave about 1/8 inch, about the thickness of 2 pieces of chipboard set together. You're going to leave that so that this will fold over freely. If you get that too close to where you're putting it inside, it'll bind it so that it won't want to fold over. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, on this side that's up, I'm going to put a piece of score tape. All right, so you got a piece of score tape. Burnish it really well so that it's really stuck down, and it'll make it so much easier to get the paper loose. You are not going to take the paper all the way off. Only take it up about 1.5 inches and then fold it toward the area that will still be exposed. Then get it in position as to where you want it, because remember, you have to leave about 1/8 inch. And I kind of try to center this on the side of the bag. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to make sure I've got about 1/8 inch exposed all the way down through. And then I'll press down here. And I'm going to hold up here. So gently pull this up a little ways and then press down, and then pull up a little bit more and then press down, because if you try to pull it all the way, you have a tendency of grabbing hold of this and pulling it out, and you want it to adhere. And then I just pull it all the way up the rest of the way, and now it's secured on one side of the flap, but we want to make sure that it doesn't pull out. So I'm going to fold this over and smooth this out. And then I'll flip my bag over, and I'm going to put some glue in here and just glue this side of the bag down to that other side. And I'm just using the tacky glue again. And I probably got way too much. And you can smooth it out with your finger. Spread it out a bit. Okay, and then just smooth it on up. Okay, and I've got glue everywhere. It's my job to get glue everywhere, I think. All right, so now we're done with the glue, because like I said, this is only the basic construction. Okay, so here we go. There's our flap. It's taped on one side and glued on the other. And once it sets up, and I would set these aside to dry if you can. I don't do it when I'm in my lives, but it works better if you make sure it's all stuck down. The only thing I would mention before we go, because this is basically it, this is basically the construction of it, is you can round your corners. Take a corner rounder or a pair of scissors, whatever you have, and just round the corners of your flap. And I round all the corners on the large tag, just so it's easier to pull in and out of the pocket. And see, now I won't have to construct a bag next month. We can just decorate it. So anyway, that's the basic construction. Now you can create, I have giant playing cards I got at the thrift store that I used as my tag, and I'll just quickly give you that measurement. Because see, this was the giant playing card, but you can cut a piece of cardstock to fit in your pocket as well. But the measurement on this, if you want to write it down so you can make it out of cardstock, is 4 7/8 by about 6 7/8. So if you did a 5 by 7, it would fit in here. A 5 by 7 card would fit in your pocket, as long as you don't get too crazy with the glue on the edges of where you seal this down. So that's the basic construction of how to make the pages for this book. And you can create trifolds out of paper if you want. This was just a cut apart from the paper pad I used. But if you look up trifolds, you look up flip outs, you look up all these other things that we can add on as we go. And I'm going to show you how to make a waterfall insert in the next video. Thanks for watching. If this was at all helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Bye now.